Hey guys, welcome to Monday of e-learning. I went ahead and posted on Google Classroom what we expected of you for Monday. Essentially, what we want you to do is we want you to look at that reading book you got on Friday, and we want you to divide out the number of pages in that book by 14. That's the number of days we have until we return to school. We want you to have that book done by the time you return back to school, so that we can start Pathfinder in that three-part paper. We want you to be as prepared as possible for what we're going into next. So of course we're playing everything by ear, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're really hopeful that we'll be seeing you on the 31st. So with that being said, on Google Classroom, we want you for Monday to like add a little comment to the assignment and just let us know how many pages you need to read between now and those 14 days, and how many pages per day. So it might be 12 pages per day. Each day on Google Classroom we'll have an objective for you, and each day I'm going to read a chapter of Josh's book since we've been so busy. I will post this video obviously on YouTube, and every day you'll follow along, and I'm hoping that you were able to we should have out some time home with you so that you can follow along with me. If not, you can just enjoy listening to the story. One thing I will tell you is each day you will get points for participating in a discussion board on Google Classroom. So we may ask you to tell us about the plot so far in your book for your three-part paper. We may ask you to tell us about characters. We may just ask you how things are going reading-wise, or we may ask you about this book. You'll get points for responding on Google Classroom. If you do not have a way to respond on Google Classroom, we'll just ask you to write that down on a piece of notebook paper and turn it in. Be aware, we're not here to give you a tremendous amount of work. We just want to see you. We want to hear from you if we can. If we can't, that's okay. We'll figure it out when you return. More than anything, I encourage you to read that book and spend time with your family, because that is most important. So number one, spend time with your family. Number two, read that book. And 3 and 4, participate in discussion board and listen to me read Josh's book, which we love. If you have any further questions, you can always email me. And if you need anything at all, I am around, I'm local, and I can help you as much as I can. I'm going to go ahead and start reading today. We are going to be at chapter 23. So we are on page 197. So I'll have you go ahead and get out this book if you have it. And, we just finished prom. And prom was not great for Josh. He did not win prom king. He was having a hard time. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about his artificial leg. My artificial leg had 3 joints: ankle, knee, hip. That's one reason why it's tough to walk with a hip disarticulation prosthesis, and why so few amputees who lose their leg at that level, that is, amputees who have no residual limb or stump, choose to wear a fake leg. Let me break it down for you. My ankle didn't move the way a normal ankle would. It was only capable of rotation, not flexion, like the motion you would need for a golf swing. My knee moved more like a real one, in the sense that it could swing on the plane of motion you would expect from a knee. To take a step, I could place my fake leg in front of me and then roll across the foot, the knee being designed to bend when my weight hit the toes. This weight-induced bend in the knee would store energy in a pressured hydraulic piston, which would then push back like a spring, propelling the knee back to a straight position and swinging the prosthesis in forward step. That's how I walked. There was also my hip joint, which I typically engaged only to move in a sitting position, but the hip joint also provided my favorite feature of the prosthesis, which was its ability to extend far beyond the range of a normal human hip. Translation: I could easily do the splits. Even better, I could do a split without standing up. While standing up, I could balance on my real leg, lifting my artificial one with my hand and pulling it straight up until the foot pointed backward toward my head. It was this particular party trick I employed in the dance decipher. Decipher being a technical name for a circle of spectators formed around a break dance. Good to know, right? I jumped into the middle of a breakdance circle, picking my prosthesis up by the ankle and hopping it in a tight spin, waving the fake foot in between two positions, one which held the straight leg out in front of me, the foot at eye level, and one which was fully extended in an unusual standing split while the heel touching my ear. It was no secret that I was an amputee, which I suppose was fortunate because otherwise this would have been really super creepy. Like I had was some kind of manic yogi ballerina. As it was, everyone was in on the joke, and as I hopped around the circle, they cheered and, yes, even chanted my name. For the record, they had not chanted Joseph Chuck's name when he was crowned prom king. Take that, popularity contest. Obviously, there could not have been a better moment to try a CFD with Evelyn. The circle closed and I danced my way over to Evelyn. I got really close to her, but I stood so our bodies were facing each other at a 90-degree angle. I figured this would feel less threatening to her than approaching her from straight on. Oh, she would think, Josh is standing really close to me, but our bodies are facing perpendicular directions, so I guess I am comfortable with this. She glanced at my face and I smiled at her. She smiled back. I kept hand cycling. Then she rotated her body away from me and took a small but discernible step to create space between us. Classic fast dance conundrum. Was she trying to get away from me? Or had her attention been drawn to a sparkly disco ball? So I danced the rest of that song wondering about this. Are you having fun? She asked. Yeah, I said, which was sort of a lie. I mean, I wasn't not having fun, but so maybe there was some fun here that I was having without noticing, and I would look back later and think how fun it was in retrospect. The past is a way of turning up the fun volume in your memories. Ain't that the truth? Great. She was put her hand on my shoulder, and for the briefest instant, I thought we were about to CFD. I gotta tell Rachel something. This was twice now that she had put me off. Was she doing it on purpose? I couldn't be sure. I wanted to just give up, to quit trying to CFD with her, and spend the rest of the night floating around not caring. But that was the problem. I did care. I cared a lot about her, about us. And we were both going to college in just a few months, and after that I wouldn't be able to see much of her. So what did I have to lose? I mean, besides my pride and dignity. Tonight was probably my last chance with Evelyn. Who knew when she would get back together with Mason, when she would disappear completely from my life? Yes, tonight. Tonight was the night. Okay, it's been a little bit, guys, since we talked about CFD, and I want to make sure I remember what it was. And I'm sure you remember, and I wish I could call on you right now. Close, fast dancing. Close, fast dancing. Rock on. So he's trying to get a close, fast dance going. And he can do the splits while standing up, which is kind of weird. Remember, good leg standing straight, like, artificial leg straight up in the air, which is kind of cool. All right, so she keeps kind of leaving him, and he really wants to close fast dance with her. All right. This was twice now. Okay, tonight was the night, so I'm on 200. So I followed her over to her gossip session with Rachel, and when she leaned away and smiled at me, I leaned in, and yes, must reached out almost there, a little too far, put my hand ever so gently on her hip. Hey, I said. She smiled and made a quick glance down at my hand. It was very brief, and I suppose she hoped I didn't see it, but I did. What I couldn't see, unfortunately, was how she felt about it. Hey, she answered. I started to sort of bop back and forth like people do when they are dancing. She smiled, a tight, toothless smile. Ugh, that's not good, right? That, get away from me, right? She held up a finger. Hold on, just a minute. I'll be right back. My hand was left holding air as her body rotated away from me so she could return her mouth to Rachel's ear. I saw Rachel steal a brief look at me and nod. Were they talking about me? Was Evelyn telling her she wanted to get away from me? That she was uncomfortable with my advances? Yes, probably. That was a mistake. All of it, prom, dancing, Evelyn, all a giant soul crushing mistake. This guy, Alberto, who I knew and who I guess knew Evelyn somehow, came up from behind her and started grinding on her. She took a quick look over her shoulder to see who it was. Upon seeing Alberto, she burst out laughing like he was the funniest guy she had ever seen. And what a hilarious joke that was that he was dancing with her like this. She pumped her hands in the air, raising the roof and smiling. He put a hand on her hip. She laughed again. If Evelyn had been my girlfriend, I would have said something witty and manly to Alberto, like, get your own date, and then clocked him in the jaw. But Evelyn wasn't my girlfriend, so her heart was not mine to defend. The song ended, and Alberto hugged her and then walked away in search of some other guy whose night he could ruin by dancing with her date. I didn't recover after that. In terms of trying to CFD with Evelyn, I had tried 3 times, which was more than enough. She didn't care about me. Our friendship? What a joke. We aren't friends. She was just a hot girl I had a crush on. Would I have been friends with her if I didn't have that crush? Probably not. Would she have been friends with me? Again, probably not. Would she have been, let's see, she was just using me for attention. She had that female intuition or whatever that told her I liked her, and she was keeping me around just because it felt good to have a boy pining for her, bringing her to the prom, listening to her talk about her boy problems. What a mistake all this had been. What a joke. After the dance, we went to after prom, which was held in the recreation center at James Madison University. Everyone brought duffel bags with normal clothes and changed out of their formal wear in the locker rooms. Evelyn was tired and her knees hurt. She mostly sat with Rachel, both of them in their sweats, both of them encouraging their dates to go have fun. Don't worry about us. So that's what I did. I had fun. Or at least I tried to. I sang karaoke and I played poker with Monopoly money. I jumped in a big inflatable thing. I drank tons of soda. The after prom party was till nearly sunrise. Then we all went over to this guy John's house. His mom had a breakfast spread for us. We ate and went into the basement to watch movies. Evelyn found a guest room and went to sleep. When people started leaving, I woke her up and drove her home. I had fun, she said when I dropped her off. Yeah, I said, thanks for coming. I did not say I had fun, because I hadn't, not really. I didn't call Evelyn much after that. I graduated, summer came, it got hot, then it was fall, and we both went off to college. She ended up not going to the same school as Mason, but she was dating him again, or so I heard. Right? Yikes, what do you do about that? You know what I really like, and I think this is kind of poetic, is when we're in the thick of something and we're supposed to be having fun, I think our brain is just talking about how much fun we're not having. We're not having fun. We're supposed to be having fun. And he made a comment that later on you realized maybe you did have more fun than you were feeling at the time. I think I've been in situations like that too, and probably you as well. It's those situations of high anxiety, of that homecoming dance when you're in the middle of it, you don't know what to do, and you've got this date. And then you're like, oh, this is the worst ever. And then you look back on it a couple years later and you're like, well, it wasn't so bad. But he definitely had a rough one, right? Oh, I really thought he was going to win prom king. I really did. But there's always tomorrow. I hope to see you guys soon. I hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I look forward to reading to you tomorrow. I'll see you soon, guys.